We're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a cute and cuddly bear? No, I'm an angry and ferocious bear. Cute and cuddly bear? Angry, ferocious bear. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 71st Dinking Around.
Aw, yeah, episode number 71.
Yes, and guys, I hope you're loving the fact that we're putting these out weekly because Webby and I have been working really hard, and I don't know, Webby, I like it. I think this has been working out real well. What do you think?
I do too, especially with the shorter format. It's easier to get them out there quicker, and I'm having a blast doing it every week, so hopefully you guys are as well, and I love the Memes of the Week segment. I look forward to it every single week.
So do I. Maybe one of these days we'll do one live, but for the time being, we'll stick with pre-recorded. Webby, I got to tell you, man, so happy that we're partnered with our friends over at Valère Pickleball. Guys, this podcast wouldn't be possible without our friends at Valère. If you want to get your hands on some of the best pickleball paddles out there, you definitely have to go to Valère.com and use coupon code PB for life to get what, Webby?
You're going to get yourself 10% off your order and help show us some support in the process.
That's right. To think that you can get 10% off of my favorite paddle, which is the Mach 1 16 millimeter, which is the perfect balance of touch, power, and spin. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I absolutely love the Mach 2 Forza 16 millimeter. It's got a great sweet spot, excellent control, really good spin. I'm loving it.
You really can't go wrong with anything you can get at Valère.com. Again, use coupon code PB for life, and we appreciate you.
Yes.
Well, Webby, I got a question for you.
What in the world is in that drink? What you got in that drink?
That's right. What in the world is in that drink? Eddie, what will you be sipping on tonight?
Well, it's the next installment of Eddie's Summer of Seltzers. And this one's actually in our fridge, left over from when my wife had a girls' weekend down here, because I'm pretty sure that this brand is probably marketing towards the females and not the men, but I thought I would give it a try. And that is Neutral Vodka Seltzer Real Juice. This is mango flavored again, which, as I mentioned last time I had a mango flavored one, I don't typically like mango flavored drinks, but I like mango, so I thought I would give it a try while I'm sipping this. Webby, what are you drinking today?
So mine is a bit topical based on something that recently happened with me. Over Father's Day weekend, I was lucky enough to compete in a pickleball tournament with my daughter, and that was over on the west side of the state here in Michigan. The tournament took place in Holland, and anytime I'm in Holland, I love visiting New Holland Brewing. So today I will be drinking the Poet from New Holland Brewing. It is an American oatmeal stout. I absolutely love this beer, and that is what I will be sipping on today.
Yeah, the Poet is a good beer. I've had it a few times. It looks like they've switched around the logo a little bit. Didn't it used to be the crow?
Yeah, they do still have the crow on there, but yeah, they totally revamped the New Holland logo is totally different. All their designs on their cans and bottles are different.
Well, cheers, my friend, and cheers to everybody out there tuning in.
Yeah, cheers, everybody. This is going to be a fun episode.
Mm-hmm. Webby, while we're sipping on this, sounds like you might have a shout-out.
Yes, I do have one. Recently, I went to the Detroit Tigers game, and they actually had Pickleball Day at Comerica Park the day that I was there. And if you see behind me, I've got this nice Detroit pickleball paddle. They were selling tickets to where if you bought certain tickets in certain sections, you would get a Detroit branded pickleball paddle. And that is what I did. They also had Pickler there, and they set up a temporary pickleball court there, and people were playing it. Unfortunately, they weren't letting the fans play pickleball. That was kind of a bummer, but they had people there just like showing off pickleball. So still very, very cool. It was a team outing through work that I went to the game that day, and it just happened to be pickleball day. So, I mean, the timing was perfect. It was pretty awesome.
That's cool. The people that were playing, were they decent players? Were they like, how did they get picked to play?
I don't know if they worked for the Tigers organization or through the Pickler company themselves. Some of the players were good, some of them not as good. So it would have been nice if they had like really high quality players playing the whole time. But oh well, what are you going to do? It was fun still.
It is cool to see pickleball kind of transitioning into all these other areas outside of just the pickleball world. So that's cool. That's awesome. You got to experience that.
Yeah, super fun. And it was funny because people I know through the pickleball world were there because it was pickleball day. So my work friends and my pickleball friends got to meet each other. And so the worlds were kind of combining, and it was kind of funny because a lot of people through pickleball, they would recognize me and come up to me. So my work friends were like, "Man, you're like a celebrity around here. This is crazy."
Oh, that's cool, man. I like that.
It was a super fun time. But speaking of time, does everybody know what time it is?
Now it's time for Memes of the Week. Yeah!
That's right. It's the hottest segment in all of pickleball podcasting, Memes of the Week, where Eddie and I each bring some memes to discuss. So, Eddie, let's start with you. What kind of memes you got today?
Oh, I got a couple good ones. This first one here is actually very short, but I get a kick out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. This is from The Stiff Dink, and it is when your partner coaches you after every shot.
Or, here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the up.
Oh, that's so good.
So good. Gotta love Dave Chappelle. Has that happened to you lately at all where you feel like you've been coached to after every shot?
Oh, yeah. There are times where I'm fine with it, but then there are times where it's like, dude, come on, let's just have fun. I really don't give a bleep right now.
Dude, it's so funny. Real quick story, and we'll go back to the memes. So I actually played at the advanced courts at East Naples. I know I was complaining about not being able to play, but I found a way to get into there, and I'm glad I did because I had a lot of fun with this group of 4-0s, 4-5s, all the way up to 5-0. And I got to tell you, it's so much more fun playing with that level. And sometimes when I'm on the 3-5 courts, I get people that might not know how much experience I have in pickleball and with doing Simone's channel and really kind of understanding the game pretty well.
Yeah.
And they try to coach me to play the complete opposite of how I learned how to play the game. But ironically, none of the people on the advanced courts did that. I found that kind of funny. Anyway, this next one is another great one from our friends over at Memes of Pickleball. And this is from the most recent PPA Sacramento tournament. And Greg Dow was on the mic calling the match. And of course, I'm sure you've seen at PPA events, they do the post-match interviews right there in the court. And this one is Greg Dow asking the hard-hitting questions during Jack Sock's post-game interview.
Greg Dow here. You have the largest rear end in pickleball, one of the largest I've seen in real life. Does that help you or hurt you on the pickleball court? What do you think, man? Does it hurt you at all? Like partner distraction, anything like that? Is that?
Well, that's a question for Leia.
Leia, what do you think?
That's a typical G Dow question right there.
Yes.
I wouldn't expect anything else.
It's so good.
Oh, man.
Like what did you think about that? Do you think that was appropriate? Do you think it was funny? Like, tell me your thoughts.
I thought it was funny. Whether I think it was appropriate, maybe not so much, just because you got to kind of know your audience. You know there's going to be a bunch of people out there complaining, but I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was great, especially knowing Jack Sock's sense of humor or whatever. I did think it's funny, though, that you could never, ever say that to a woman, but it's totally fine to be able to say it to a man, which I think is kind of funny, but I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. One question I have for you, what do you think when they do those interviews where the commentators are doing the interviews and the players have the headphones on? What do you think of that style of interview?
I like the style of interview. I think it takes you right into the court. I think it's easier for the players. They're not running to like another area to do the interview. I like it. What I will tell you, though, is that I like it in concept. In execution, I think that this just exposes how much more of a need there is for pro players to get media training. I've seen them like the interview's not even over and their like headsets are already off and they're like ready
Right.
to walk away, or
Yeah.
they're not taking it seriously. Like there's just a couple things that I think could improve, and I think that comes through media training, which obviously in pickleball there isn't a really big push for these pros to do it. That's my take, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it a lot. When the people do it properly to where the players don't take the headphones off too soon or rush off, I really like it a lot. I think sometimes it's better to have the commentators ask the questions because they watched the entire match from beginning to end, so they might have some really good questions that somebody that's sitting on the sidelines might not have, because it can be hard sometimes when you're there in person and you're doing the interviews after the matches. Sometimes you're running around doing interviews at different courts and stuff, so you might not have seen the entire match. So I think it makes sense for the commentators to ask the questions. especially with those hard-hitting questions like we just heard there.
That's right. Oh, that's great. Gotta love Jack Sock, though, man. He's.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he came into pickleball. I think he's bringing a fun energy to the court. He's taking it seriously, but he's not taking himself too seriously. And I really do think that he's helping to push the sport along. And I think interview questions like this is another example of how we can take stuff from the tennis world, bring that fun, kind of rebellious element of pickleball, marry them together, and have a great interview like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I am a huge fan of Jack Sock. I love the fact that he's involved in pickleball, and I think it's going to be nothing but good things as a result of it. So I'm here for the ride.
I love it. Well, Webby, I want to know what meme you got for us this week.
All right, this is another really funny one from the fine folks at Friday Pickleball, and this is the first time playing pickleball.
I've got my pickleball racket ready to play. Where's the wiffle ball? All right, so this is Dinking. You know, I got a weird aunt who plays this like 5 times a week. How do people get injured playing this sport? Yes, point for us.
Oh, I remember those days. Carefree, breaking every rule in the book. One day you'll be like me, and your entire well-being will depend on how you played that day.
Gladys, I think I figured some out strategy sesh. How about you be at the net and I'll be back. So you get the short ones, I get the long ones.
Right now, for these guys, it's just nirvana. It's just pickleball.
And if we get too tired, let's just both go back, and I don't see how they'll get it past us. People make money playing this game? How is that possible? They can't doink like us.
I mean, look at them. They're like 2 golden retrievers playing with a ball. It's beautiful.
2 golden retrievers playing with the ball. That's great.
And they had me with Dinking. Like every time they say Dinking, it had me cracking up the first time I saw that.
And didn't it say his name was Scott Pickleball?
Yeah. Oh man, but I feel like I want to refer to it as Dinking from now on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we did have an episode on does the word dink actually take away from the sport? Maybe we need to change it to doink.
Right.
The next time you go to the court and you're playing with people you don't know, here's what you should do. Pretend that like this is your first time playing, you've never played before, and just keep using the word doinking and see how long it takes until somebody corrects you and is like, it's dinking there, Webby. It's not doinking.
I would totally do that.
How long do you think it'll take?
Oh man, it depends on the people, because I know there are probably some people that might not say something right away, but then I know some people that will correct me immediately. So that'd be a very good experiment.
I think it would be fun on one of these RV trips I go on where I show up to the court and I just pretend like it's my first time and just pretend like I picked up on the game really fast and see what people's reactions are.
I like that. I've always wanted to do like a hidden camera type thing
Yeah.
too. Like I think we talked about this before. I thought it would be hilarious if we were in disguise playing with people and then we removed our disguise and be like, hey, it's actually us, Eddie and Webby from Eddie and Webby, and then they're all looking at us like, who? Like they like aren't impressed whatsoever because they have no idea who we are still.
Well, the funny part is that even if it was like Ben and Anna Lee, most people that play recreational pickleball would probably be like, who? Just
Right.
because
Oh,
most
yeah.
rec players don't even know that there's pro pickleball and don't even follow
Yep.
it. So yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. Maybe we should do that. We obviously can't do it in Naples. We can't do it in Michigan. We'd have to go to like somewhere in the middle of Tennessee maybe and meet up and do it. But I
Right.
think we should do it sometime.
Yeah, I like the idea. What do you guys think? Should we do it? Let us know in the comments below.
Yes. And Webby, what time is it?
Now it's time for Topics of the Week.
That's right. It's Topics of the Week, where each week Webby and I pick a topic in the pickleball space. We talk about it. We share our perspectives. But what we really want is for you to share your perspectives as well. So while we're talking through, if you feel the urge, throw it down in the comments below. You can agree with us. You can disagree with us. You can even tell us how much you hate us. Just put it down in the comments below, and we appreciate it. And Webby, I want to know, what is your topic this week?
Well, my topic this week involves something that frustrates me so much. And I've been doing pickleball tournaments for over 5 years now. It was a problem back then. It's still a problem now. And that is sandbagging. Why? Why is sandbagging so prevalent in pickleball when it comes to pickleball tournaments? I can't stand it, but I feel like every tournament I have ever done has always had at least one team that is definitely sandbagging and should be playing a higher level, and they're just there to chase after an easy win. So I just want to ask you, like, why do you think it's so prevalent, and why do people do it?
Well, that's a good question. Here's my perspective. there's a spectrum of what people are getting out of pickleball, right? Over on this end, you have people that might be doing it for fun, and then you might have people that are just looking to compete in tournaments but don't really care about medals or results, just really want to have that fun challenge. And then you have people over here that maybe do care about medals and recognition and stuff like that a little bit more, but don't want to like cheat or play down to do it. And then you have on the other extreme people that just want to win no matter what, whether it's by cheating, whether it's by sandbagging, whether it's by, Tanya Hardying their opponent's kneecaps, right? So I think that what you're talking about are people that are more on this end of the spectrum where winning that medal is more important than integrity, than their name, their reputation, any of that. That's why I think sandbagging happens. And I've experienced it definitely, and it sucks. It's annoying.
Yeah, but I feel like every single tournament I've done, there's been at least one team where you can just tell, like, okay, well, they're obviously going to win, so the rest of us will see who can get, like, second and third place and stuff like that. And then that team usually goes undefeated, and it just shows that they didn't have much of a challenge. And it blows my mind that people like doing that, but it happens every single time. It's crazy to me.
So in these tournaments, right, I want to give the sandbaggers the benefit of the doubt or play a little bit of devil's advocate here, even though I probably will agree with you on this. Is there a chance that, number one, they didn't know what their rating is and they just guessed and it was wrong? Number two, there wasn't a place available for them, meaning based on their skill set within the tournament itself? Or number three, do you think that they really were just doing it because they wanted to get a medal and this was the easiest way to do it?
The first two things you mentioned, I definitely think are the case in some of the scenarios, but I absolutely have experienced people that fit the third category that you mentioned that frustrates me the most. And the first one you mentioned about how people maybe they just don't know where they belong, that's a whole nother thing I wanted to discuss too, because there's been so many times where somebody was like, oh, this is my first tournament, so I just decided I would sign up for this division. But then when I find out, like, when they play rec play, they only do, like, higher level rec play. I feel like when that's the case, it's like, come on. You obviously, you're good enough to hang with this higher level group, even though it's your first tournament. I think you know better than to sign up for this lower level, because there are certain people will never play rec play when it's like lower level players. They're always going to only want to play like 4-0 and above or something because they know they're good enough. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, though? Like, if somebody's like new to tournaments, but they've been playing for a while and typically play with higher level people and do well against the higher level people, what are your thoughts on them doing a lower level tournament just because it's their first tournament?
I think it depends on how big of a leap they're making, right? If they're playing consistently with like people who are 4-0s and they're able to hang because they can hit the ball hard or they're athletic, but their skill set isn't probably the same as these other 4-0s, then I don't see a problem with them going down to 3-5 just to kind of get a gauge of where they fit into the whole spectrum of it. But if you're talking about maybe making a full leap, like, no, they're solid players. They've been playing rec for years. They're consistently playing with 4-5s, and they go in and sign up at 3-0, 3-5. Yeah, I think that's a huge, huge problem. At the same point, Webby, look at Annalie Waters' first tournament she ever played in, right? She entered in singles at, 10, 11 years old in 3-0 or 3-5. And they actually moved her out of that bracket during the tournament because of the fact that she was just demolishing them, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that the Waters family signed her up intentionally to sandbag. They just didn't know. They didn't know any better. And so I think that could also be the case. But I agree with you. If you have somebody that's playing with higher level, these people play tournaments, they know what the skill level is, they're probably telling this person, hey, no, you should probably sign up at 4-0 or you should sign up at 3-5 or whatever the proper division is that they should be entering.
In the scenario that you talked about earlier, where maybe the tournament like only let people sign up for a specific level based on their tournament history and stuff like that, I definitely don't have a problem there because that's beyond the control of the player. What is it? Is it the U.S. Open or Nationals that does something like that, where like whatever your skill is in their rating system, that's what you have to do?
Yeah, it's based on your UTPR rating. I mean, there's exceptions to that, but it's very rare that they would allow you to play anything different than what your current rating is. And You know, I could go sign up right now based on my mixed doubles UTPR rating in a 3-0 mixed doubles event. And listen, I mean, maybe I would get a team that would give me a run for my money, but I feel pretty confident that our skill levels are not going to be the same and in a 3-0 mixed doubles tournament. So that would be unfair for them to force me to play 3-0 mixed doubles just because that's my current UTPR rating.
Yeah. And then when it comes to me, like I like doing 4-0 tournaments. My official ratings are not 4-0. And I feel like I danced the line. Like I'm almost a legit 4-0, but not quite, to where I feel like I could do 3-5s and I wouldn't feel too bad about doing 3-5 tournaments. In fact, anytime I play with my daughter, I do 3-5 because she's more of a 3-0 player. So I feel like that's a good balance. But anytime I play with somebody I do rec play with regularly, I prefer to do 4-0 tournaments. I don't do well. I can count on one hand over the past, I think I've been doing 4-0 tournaments for 3 years now. I can count on one hand how many medals I've gotten in 4-0 tournaments, but I love the challenge. I can always hang. Like, I mean, I'm always just like this close to making it to the medal stand. I've gotten 4th place so many times in really tough 4-0 tournaments. So I prefer doing 4-0, even though technically I could do 3-5, and depending on the rating system, I could even do 3-0 tournaments. But there's no way I'll ever do a 3-0 tournament again. I just wouldn't feel right about it. I might do 3-5 here and there depending on who my partner is, but I currently prefer doing 4-0. And when I do make it on the medal stand, it just feels so, so good because I just feel like I really, really challenged myself and really proved myself. So,
well, let me ask you a question. How good does it feel to get on the medal stand? Does it feel good enough for you to play down?
No, it does not. No, like if I went into a 3-0 tournament, because I can, according to UTPR, I could do 3-0 tournaments, both men's doubles and mixed doubles. And if I did that and I medaled and got gold, I would not feel great about it.
Yeah. Well, then you're not one of the people that you have a problem with, so that's good.
Yeah. But what do you guys think? Do you think I'm out of line? Am I being too strict with how I feel people should be when it comes to tournaments? Let us know.
That's right.
What about you, Eddie? What kind of topic you bring in tonight?
Well, mine's more on the pro scene, right? And it has to do with the fact that I think we're seeing a shift in how men's doubles is being played on the pro scene. I think that we are seeing a rise in the concept of an aggressive right side player in men's doubles. And what has the trend been in the last few years? Well, it's funny because I actually went back and watched some of the pro matches from the 2019 World Pickleball Championship that I live streamed in Punta Gorda. And back then, a lot of the pro men's doubles teams weren't stacking. They were just playing straight up like you would in normal rec play. And now it's almost an anomaly to see a pro team not stacking. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely would agree. It never used to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. It was rare. You know, you would see it a lot in mixed doubles, but it was rare in men's doubles. I wouldn't say rare, but we saw a trend over the last few years to where stacking is now 100% the norm. And what that meant is it allowed people to be able to specialize in being a left side player and a right side player. So for the sake of this discussion, let's just assume that everybody is right-handed, okay? The left side player, Webby, in your mind, what's the definition of a good men's doubles pro left side player?
You're much more aggressive. You like to cover probably 2/3 of the court, and anything in the middle or even close to the middle, your forehand is going for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I said too. Covering more of the court, big forehand, making yourself big, applying pressure. And then what would your definition of a good men's doubles right side player be?
Yeah, I would just say somebody that's great at defense, somebody that's just there for backup, and yeah, really mainly a good backup partner.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I think definitely being very consistent, a very steady player, knows positioning and strategy to be able to try and set up your opponents to give your partner a ball with a big forehand. I think the best example of this would be Ben and Colin Johns, right? They've been obviously the most dominant men's doubles players out there, and that's how they play. I do think that they're a little bit of an extreme case where Ben does cover more of the court than Colin does than other men's doubles partnerships, but I think that they're the best example, right? Ben plays big. He has a big forehand. He's covering a lot of the court. He's moving around. And Colin is there, steady Eddie, keeping the ball in play, great defense, but still ready to put a solid backhand rip if you put that ball up a little bit high, right? However, I think over the last few months, we've seen a change in this, right? And I think there's two players that have stood out recently that are indicative of this. And really, it goes back to the PPA Sacramento Open, right? So you got Hayden Patrickin and you got Gabe Tardio, okay? So Hayden, along with Federico Stockscrewed, they won gold. And you had Gabe Tardio playing with Riley Newman. Although they took fourth, they played incredibly well, and they beat Ben Johns and Big Papa Jimmy, James Ignatowicz, in 2 games in the quarterfinals, right? And if you notice, their style of play was very different than what we've seen in most of the semis and finals in pro pickleball for a while, where Hayden and Gabe on the right side were playing a very aggressive right side game. They're very comfortable with their backhand. The middle was not always going to that left side player. Federico knew exactly when to let Hayden come over and take middle with his backhand. Riley, and this is big for Riley because I feel like in the past, Riley has always insisted on being the alpha out there. There were so many times where Riley was great with letting Gabe Tardio go in there and take middle and be aggressive. And guess what? Gabe Tardio has shown that he might be Ben Johns' kryptonite, right? He's given Ben Johns a run for his money in a lot of the tournaments over the last 6 to 9 months as well. So I guess my question is, Webby, do you think we're going to see a change in the men's pro doubles pickleball game where it's not going to be the traditional left side, big forehand, big aggressive presence, right side, more defensive, setting up their partner? Do you think we're going to see a shift in that style?
I do. I do think we're going to see a change, and I think we're already seeing evidence of that, and people are proving that it works. So I think it's just going to keep happening.
What do you think about from an amateur level, right? Because I know that like when you and I play together, I always try and play more the traditional style where the left side player is more of the aggressive player. They're taking a lot of the balls in the middle. They're being a lot more aggressive. The right side player is a little bit more of the set player. Do you think that the success we're seeing with some of these kind of non-traditional teams in the pro men's doubles team will apply to amateur play? Do you think there's things that we should try out that would help? What are your thoughts there?
I feel like it depends on who you play with because a lot of rec players just don't even follow pro pickleball to where I don't know if that'll be influential enough. But I feel like it's more higher level players that really focus on the pro level. So on the higher end, I could see them adapting what they see in the pro world. In general, if you only do like 4-0 and below, I don't think things are going to change too much. I think people are just set in their ways at that level, and they're probably not going to change much. They probably are still under the mindset that you need to rush to the kitchen line at all costs, no matter what. Just get there as soon as possible, no matter what kind of shot you hit. but yeah, I think the higher level players, like 4-5 and above, they will probably start tweaking things to kind of match the pro game.
Well, I guess we will see. Are we going to see a transition into more of this new style of play? I don't know. Jury's out for me on the amateur side as well. I do think that there's times where it makes sense. Obviously, when you have a lefty involved, that throws the whole thing off, and you got to readjust your entire strategy altogether, which means I think we should just get rid of all lefties from pickleball and make it more fair for everybody. But that's just my opinion because one of my weaknesses is playing against lefties. I don't know why. Yeah. They just throw me off. I can't read their shots well. I hit to the wrong side all the time. It just totally screws me up. Playing with a lefty, I mean, I can't tell you how many times if I'm on the left, especially, our paddles are hitting each other. If you're left-handed, just go find a different sport. That's my take.
Yeah, I definitely hate playing against them. I have started playing quite well with them, though. Alec from my Detroit Pickleball League team that I did earlier this year, whenever he and I played together, we jived really nicely. I would love to try doing a tournament with him sometime. But yeah, we definitely stack. So as long as you stack with a lefty, and then you just got to remember, like, figure out which one of you has the better forehand and have them be the one that takes the middle. Otherwise, yeah, it can get kind of confusing and a lot of paddle collisions could happen at the middle.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe I just need to play with lefties more, or if there is a lefty, just get more time. Did you find that the more you played with Alec, the easier it was for you guys to figure out each other's play style and know who's going to cover middle?
Yeah, especially he's definitely a better player than I am. So I was like, hey, anything in the middle, you got it. I'll stand over here. And then we stacked to where we were pretty much in that position the whole time. Also, that was rally scoring, so we never had an instance where we had to like run back and forth to change our position because with the rally scoring, he's always on the right, I'm always on the left. And that made it a lot easier. So maybe in traditional pickleball, it'd be a little bit more confusing. But yeah, he and I jived well. So I don't know. I'd like to try doing a tournament sometime, see how we do.
Well, guys, that's our opinions. Let us know down in the comments what you think. Are we going to see a shift to a different style of play in pro men's doubles? If so, do you think that is going to trickle down to the amateur side? And do you agree with me that lefties should just not be playing pickleball? Just get them out of there altogether. Let us know down in the comments below. I'm totally kidding, by the way. I think some of the best pros, CJ Klinger, right? He's a lefty, and I would hate for him not to play pickleball because the kid's a freaking beast out there. So those are our topics this week. I hope you guys like them. You want to know what else I like? That is our friends over at Jigsaw Health. Webby, please share with the world. How do you like to stay hydrated?
Well, anytime I play pickleball, I like to mix a bottle of water with some Electrolyte Supreme. The fruit punch flavor is my favorite. I drink one before I play, and then I drink one when I'm done playing, and that helps me big time with staying hydrated, which is super important, especially in the hot summers. But yeah, that works great for me.
Well, Jigsaw Health has a ton of great products out there that I take on a daily basis. My favorite is the pickleball cocktail, the blue raspberry flavor. But guys, these products are going to make you feel good because at Jigsaw Health, it is fun to feel good. And if you go to jigsawhealth.com and use coupon code PB4Life10, you're going to get what, Webby?
You're going to get yourself $10 off your order, and you're going to show us some support in the process. Oh, yeah.
Yes, you're going to support us, and you're also going to support a company that's obsessed with pickleball, so much so that they created the Orchard at Jigsaw Health, which is an indoor pickleball facility, home of the Arizona Pickleball League, which is a league that they created, a pro pickleball league that takes place at the Orchard at Jigsaw Health, and they created a documentary about it called Breaking Pickleball. Guys, they're obsessed with pickleball. Support companies like that because it's just going to help grow the sport. JigsawHealth.com, coupon code PB4Life10. We appreciate it. But Webby, I got to know your
Closing thoughts.
So what did we learn today? We learned that if you like to coach other people during rec play,
You could shut the fuck up.
we also learned in the PPA, they love to ask the hard-hitting questions. We also learned that I absolutely hate sandbagging, and if you do it, I'm not a fan of yours. And we learned that pro pickleball is changing, especially when it comes to men's doubles and how they approach right side players and left side players. Will it change the way that us as amateur players play? Only time will tell. But I thought this was a great episode and a very fun one.
I agree. We're going to record one more next week, and then we're going to be taking a couple weeks off here because we got some really cool stuff happening with Beer City Open. So don't miss us too much because I promise you we're going to be getting some great content from there as well. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.
Well, we're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.